Slakia. Slakia. That's traffic. People don't know how to drive. But nevertheless, Shalom. Giving all praises to Yahweh Bashem Yahushai. Double honors to the apostles, bishops, elders of Great Millstone. Shalom to you, hopefully elect. Alright. And pursuant to the title, as the title goes, concerning the MOTB, the Revelation 13, 16, and 17, it only makes sense. Alright. It only makes sense as far as what the apostles have taught. Alright. Concerning the MOTB and what it is, what we believe it to be. To the point where even these average Joe Smucks out here, for the most part, through the Spirit of the Lord, are able to put the pieces together. All right, for the most part. Because as I often talk about, time in and time out, I've been saying it all year. As far as this feeling of anticipation, this feeling like something's getting ready to happen, this feeling that the Lord's getting ready to do something. All right, well, that doesn't just apply to us, to those of us in the know. All right, for the most part, everybody has that sense, that feeling that something's getting ready to happen. Everyone's getting that feeling, except for Jake, for the most part. Jake has no idea what's going on, But everyone else, all these other nations, they get that sense, that feeling. But the only difference is they're not able to connect the dots. You see, we're able to connect the dots. All right. We're able to put the pieces to the puzzle through the Spirit and make the picture clear. All right. Because pursuant to the screenshot for this live, I was watching a video by this guy Jeremiah Babe. That's the screenshot that I got. And I'll put the link in the description, Lord willing, I remember. But I was watching his video, and he actually made a few points throughout the video. I might actually do another video or another commentary off of his video. But nevertheless, what I want to do to bring it all back together full circle, because again, the title, as the title goes, it only makes sense, right? As far as the MOTB, concerning the MOTB and what it is, because you got this guy from the ISUPK, and a lot, all these leaders that are teaching contrary to sound doctrine, especially concerning the MOTB, right? But it only makes sense because pursuant to the prophecy of Revelation 13, starting at 16 on down, which I'm going to get, you see, in order to partake in a system or in a society, you need a bartering system. You need some type of trade system, some type of bargaining system. You see? And I'm just gonna play some of this clip. Lord willing, you can hear it. Turn this AC down real quick. Lord willing, you can hear it because, and he mentions it as well. Because people misquote the scripture all the time. about how money being the root of all evil. No, the money is not the root of all evil. All right, the love of money. All right, because we need money, and this is a part of the clip that I want to play from this video. We need money. All right, as of right now, as it stands, that's the current way of bartering in this society right now, while the system is still somewhat intact. All right, that fiat currency, that fake money, those greenbacks. All right, like I said, as it stands right now, that's the current way of buying and selling in a society. Well, you see, there's going to be a new system, and with this new system, there's going to be a new way of buying and selling. So again, to tie it all back together, that's why it only makes sense concerning the MOTB. It only makes sense. So without further ado, I'm going to go ahead and play some of this clip. Lord willing, you can hear it. Just bear with me. And I try to do a screen record video, but the minute I finished the video, for whatever reason, the video didn't save. So that's why I'm just going live. I'm gonna just speak on it. But Lord willing, you can hear it.
Wake up to your Wawa favorites. All your favorite Sizzlies are 2 for $5, like the sausage, egg, and cheese croissant.
Man,
because just listen to the points that he was making as far as how we need money. And I don't mean that in a sense of like we, you know, because even the scriptures talk about abusing the world or using the world, but not abusing it. Let's go through that real quick. First Corinthians 7. First Corinthians 7. Start at verse 26. I suppose, therefore, that this is good for the present distress. I say that it is good for a man so to be. Because you see, and I'm going to read that in the NLT real quick. Because of the present crisis, I think it is best to remain as you are. And you see, all right, because he makes a point. Again, I'm going to play the clip on one of the most, well, let's just go ahead and go to it. Let's just play it. Lord willing, you can hear it.
At a Burning Man, and you know, maybe God is just getting sick and tired of all this, and it's coming to a point, ladies and gentlemen. And I think that the rest of this country is going to see some huge events taking place too. And I think one of the biggest events that we're going to see, not just these disasters of floods and fires, but I think the biggest one, my opinion, I think the biggest disaster that America is going to see is going to be an economic disaster. And I think that is going to bring people to their knees.
So that he said basically one of the most detrimental things that people are going to face, these Americans are going to face, is an economic disaster, right? Because as we say time in and time out, in order for them to usher in a new system, bring in a new system, they had to collapse the old one. And we are currently in the collapse of this old system. So like I said before, with the new system that's coming, there's going to be a new way of buying and selling. There's going to be a new way of partaking in society, being able to conduct business in society, because life as we know it is about to change. As we say time in and time out, life is about to change, man, for all of us. One day we're going to wake up in this new system and it's going to be a dystopian. It's just going to be completely different. So that's why going back to 1 Corinthians 7 and 26. I suppose, therefore, that this is good for the present distress. I say that it is good for a man so to be. You see, because, you know, I speak for brothers, you know, because it's just, as we know more and more, we are coming into that time, right? But with that being said, more and more the Lord is he's trimming the fat. He's getting rid of all the unnecessary things, and he's removing it from our life. Why? Because the time of detaching is coming. And we have to have a mindset of just completely, hey, we got to be ready to leave it all behind. That includes women, children, whatever. And the time is going to come where we're just going to have to go. We're going to have to leave it all behind. It's cold, because that's why you have to be a visionary. You have to be able to see into the future, like the Apostle Gabar often says, man, because I can see it. A lot of jig, man, when this shit hits the fan for real, a lot of jig is going to end up going back to that apartment complex for that PS5, for that flat screen, for those Jordans. I can see that. You see? But us, on the other hand, again, we have to have our mindset to just be ready to leave it all behind. And we're just going to have to be in the spirit of just go. Because again, life as we know it is about to change very dramatically and drastically, right? So verse 26 or verse 27, art thou bound unto a wife? Seek not to be loosed. Art thou loose from a wife? Seek not a wife. So you see, it's just better wherever you're at. Hey, it's better to just, as much as we want the many wives and the Isaiah form, it's just not expedient right now. Though it's lawful, it's just not expedient. It's just not wise. Now, if you're able to, every brother's situation is different. If you handle it, then cool. For brothers that are seeking wives, listen, if the Lord doesn't give you one, then just, and this is gonna be a hard pill for a lot of Israelites to swallow, because hey, at the end of the day, we are men. So if you're burning, you better just pay for some box, man. Pay for some box and keep it pushing. All right, because the way that things are going right now, like I said, one day we're gonna wake up in a completely new system, and it's just gonna be different, man. Life is gonna be different. I'm gonna jump down to verse 30. It says, and they that weep as though they wept not, and they that rejoice as though they rejoice not. Because you see, the tables are about to turn. Right now we're complaining, sighing, and crying, but soon we're gonna be laughing at these people like, damn, and these people there in that spirit of feasting and mirth, well, soon that's going to be turned to joy, that's going to be turned to darkness, sorrow, mourning, right? It says, and they that buy as though they possess not. Because again, we're going to have to be willing to, we got to be ready, have this mindset of readiness of mind to just leave it all behind. Because when you read verse 31, it says, and they that use this world as not abusing it. So you see, money is important. It's not the love of money, or salakia. It's not money that's the root of evil. It's the love of money, because obviously we're here, society's still somewhat intact, and, we're still in the cool of the day. So we still got to pay bills and, conduct business, do what we got to do. But we just can't overindulge in this place. We use the word, we don't abuse it. It says, for the fashion of this world passeth away. So again, all this is, like I said, this new system is about to be ushered in. And with this new system, there's going to be a whole new way of buying and selling, bartering, trading, and whatnot. So it only makes sense. All right. Salakia. Having all type of. Bear with me. Salakia. Hopefully you can hear me. I got the AC point right at the phone so it doesn't overheat. So Salakia. But all this shit is about to change. All this shit is about to be done away with. All right. As I just read, the fashion of this world passes away, and there's going to be a new fashion, so to say. Again, a new system. And in this system, there's going to be a new way of buying and selling. So like I said, pertaining to the title, it only makes sense, man. It only makes sense as far as the MOTB, right? The digital transactions. All right. It only makes sense. So we're going to play some more of this. Bear with me. I'll play some more of this.
Congratulations, you've won a free gift. Come to Temu and make your selection.
To their knees. And you know, when you don't have money, you can't eat. You know, people say, oh, it's not always about the money. Don't love money. I don't love money, okay? But money gives you freedom. Money keeps you alive. Money pays the bills. Money buys food. Money buys security. Money can. And so it's not the love of money, but you got to have money to survive. If you're dead broke and you got to go to the hospital, you're not going to get the same treatment as somebody that has money. And that's just the way it is. And so it isn't about greed and the love of money and worshiping money. It's about having enough money so that you have safety, so that you have freedom, so you can pay your bills, so that you're not evicted, that your car's not repossessed, so that your business doesn't go under, so that your kids don't starve, so that you don't become homeless. That's why you need money. Money means, you know, maybe you can take better transportation, not ride a subway, and deal with all the crime. You have to think about where we're at today, and you have to think about the importance of having some money right now and building a war chest and building some capital.
So you see, that's pretty much the point, all right? Because like it tells you here, and it, you know, it reminds me of those points that he was making. It reminds me of two movies actually, because I just recently watched again with Justin Timberlake, that End Time movie, right? Where basically the more time that you had, basically the wealthier you were, the more access that you had, right? You had the different tiers, right? From the ghetto all the way to the upper echelons and whatnot, you know, with the fancy, you know, cars and, you know, luxury restaurants and all that stuff, you know. And it also reminds me of what's this movie, Demolition Man, right? Where everyone was, well, you had people that partook in the system, and hey, you know, they're able to do certain things and whatnot, all right? But when you watch, because I just seen this for the first time. I just seen the movie, you know, the Apostles Brothers talk about the movie all the time. I just recently seen it for the first time, you know. And I remember, because again, you had people that were, you know, a part of the system, all right? But to those that weren't a part of the system, they, you know, they were off, basically like living off grid, living in the sewers and stuff like that. And every now and then they would come up from the sewers and rob the rich, rob the wealthy, rob those that were able to partake in the society. You see? Because again, going back to the bartering, all right? You know, how you conduct business in a society. So again, when it comes to that MOTB, hey, because I'm going to get this real quick. Ecclesiastes 7 and verse 12. For wisdom is a defense, and money is a defense. So you see, like you were saying, the points that he was making, hey, we need money, you know. And as it stands, like I said, the current bartering system, the current way of buying and selling is that those are greenbacks. Well, that's going to change. That's about to change. And it's going to be a new system, and with that is going to be a new way of buying and selling. All right? A new bartering system for the new system. But like I just said here, for wisdom is a defense. So you see, because while everyone else is going down to those sea hipping stations and, you know, taking the MOTB, a wisdom is going to be our defense, Lord willing. All right, because that's going to be our guide. The Spirit of Yahweh Shema Shai is going to be our guide, right? Because like he mentioned, hey, well, with a society collapse, hey, again, that's going to pave way for this new system. And with that being said, hey, you know, out of fear and just that sense of not knowing what to do, hey, these people, man, they're going to willingly take that MOTB, but not the elect. Because again, wisdom is going to be their defense. All right? Wisdom is going to be their defense, while everyone else is going to go down to Egypt for help. They're going to trust in Egypt, trust in the staff of Egypt. You see? So going to Revelation 13. and 16, and he causeth all, both small and great, rich and poor, free and bond, to receive a charagma in their right hand or in their forehead. Because again, you had this guy, this captain, whatever his name is, from the ISUPK, completely butchered this when it talks about the right hand and the forehead. You know, completely butchered it. All right, but that's the thing about these camps and whatnot, man. These leaders who don't believe, as far as the MOTB and what has been taught by the apostles, one way or the other, whether you believe or not, we're all going to be put in a position to where we're going to have to take this or not. All right, one way or the other, we're all going to be put in a position to where a decision is going to have to be made, and that leads into the hour of temptation. All right, that leads into the hour of temptation, because every man, woman, and child is going to be put in a position to where they're going to have to make a decision. You accept it or you don't. You accept it, you can partake in the system. If you don't, well, and eventually it's going to, you know, there's going to be, because this is going to be a time where all hell is going to be breaking loose, and peril, chaos, total anarchy. All right, so eventually it's going to come down to, come down to a point where it's going to get to a point where, for those that don't take the MOTB, hey, you're going to be put to death. You could be put to death, and that's why, like it tells you in Revelation, how some of the elect are going to get martyred, some of the elect are going to get beheaded, because the elect, the spirit is going to be on them. They're going to be the only ones to not bow down to the needs of the image of the beast, man. They're not going to take that MOTB. Right, but like I said, and he causeth all. So you see, and we've been in this process, and you got to think, with the lockdowns back in 2020, 2021, all right, because this is something that they've been wanting to do for years, decades. It's just a matter of the right event, the right crisis, right? Because America's, you know, I'm gonna get this real quick in Ecclesiastes 12, because, like you said, in the event of a society collapse, these people, man, they're gonna lose it. They're gonna panic. But that's how fragile America's economy is, man. You know, like I always say, America is one not so major event away from just all hell breaking loose, because America's fragile. America's economy is so weak. So Ecclesiastes 12:5, and when they shall be afraid of that which is high, and fear shall be in the way, and the almond tree shall flourish, and the grasshopper shall be a burden. Now, how's a grasshopper a burden? When you look at a grasshopper, that's something that's small, that's minor, insignificant. You see? Well, that just goes to show you again how weak America's economy is. Something small, minor, insignificant. This is, you know, like I said, one not so major event away from just all hell breaking loose, and just a complete collapse of some sort, man. You see? So something small and insignificant. That's why I say one not so major event away. It's just a matter of the right crisis at this point. And going back to 2020, 2021, right? How much they were able to get done, because you know, it really expedited a lot of the things, that a lot of their goals and agendas, their plans, you know. Because like I said, this is something that they've been wanting to do, right? Well, with those, you know, that crisis back in 2020, 2021, that expedited a lot of things. A lot of middle-class businesses, you know, wiped off the map, you know. And that's why I say you got to think, because what's the talk right now? More lockdowns, another crisis. And if those lockdowns back in 2020, 2021, if they did a lot of damage, man, what do you think is going to, because America's not, and we've been saying this, America's not going to survive another lockdown, man. All right. Those first lockdowns almost completely eradicated the middle class. What do you think these next rounds of lockdowns are going to do? So I just read in Ecclesiastes 12:5, man, hey, the grasshopper shall be a burden. Any small things is going to just really set things off. And we can't wait. So going back to Revelation 13:16 again. And he calls it all, both small and great, rich and poor. And you notice how it didn't, you know, it said rich and poor. Going back to what I was just mentioning, all right? There's no in between, no middle class. You're either going to fall into one or two categories, the rich or the poor. And that's what took place during this whole fiasco, this whole crisis, world crisis. Hey, the rich got richer, the poor got poor. And all those that are in between, hey, they either fell into the category of the rich or the poor. It says, free and bond to receive a charagma in their right hand or in their foreheads, and that no man might buy or sell. Say if he that had the mark or the name of the beast or the number of his name. So you see, all right, that no man might buy or sell. You won't be able to partake in society if you don't, get down with this program. If you don't take that MOTB, you won't be able to function in society, And that's why, on another note, hey, the elect, the hopefully elect, we're being trained to just say the hell with all this, man. All right, because there is a complete collapse of this system coming, and there's going to be a new system, and within that system, a new way of buying and selling, a new bartering system. Again, whether you believe it or not, hey, it's going to be in the form of that MOCB. Like I said, whether you believe it or not, everyone's going to be put in a position to where they're going to have to either accept it or reject it. All right. The Lord willing, this was edifying, giving all praises to Yahweh by Hashem Yahweh Shai. Shalom to you. Hopefully, let Lord willing into the next one. Shalom.